Hello. Welcome to this corner of my office. Trying a new format. I've got my iPad, I've got my water, got my cam, my comfy cushion, my comfy chair. So welcome. If you want to watch this on YouTube, then come and watch it on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, hello, welcome. Okay, so today, what I want to talk about is the systems that I use for running my business and world schooling my kids. So for those of you who don't know, I've homeschooled my kids for 2 years, 2.5 years actually. And about 18 months ago, we realized that that meant that we could live anywhere. So this year, last year, because it's 2025 now, we did a 2-month test run in Asia where we did a month in Bangkok and a month in Hoi An, living in an apartment and working and schooling from there. And we loved it. That was a test run to see whether we wanted to do more. And this year we'll be away for 6 months. And I get so many questions about how I homeschool and what that looks like when we travel and how I run a business and travel at the same time. And so I just wanted to really break down what that looks like for us and know that it's a really individual thing that is not the same every day. But I wanted to give you like the daily schedule that we're planning. So we leave in a month now for 2 months overseas. We'll be back for a month and then we leave for 4 months. So we're effectively traveling from February through to the end of September. And what that means is the business has to be set up in a certain way. It means we run our lives a certain way. And I want to share that with you. I want to share the day-to-day schedule of what it's going to look like for us overseas and the systems in the business so that you can see both parts and how they support each other and how it means that I can continue to run a successful business and travel and homeschool my kids without going totally crazy, without working all the time, without, having it pretty balanced. And I say that because you never know what life throws at you, right? So let's just dive straight in. I want to talk to you first about what my schedule is going to look like when we leave. Now, again, I've done a 2-month test run, so I know what works and what doesn't. We're also managing different time zones. I work across the world. And so for me, that always means getting up early. And I love that. I love getting up and working quietly away while the kids are still asleep. That is like my precious treasured time. I also love working at night. I love being awake at night, but I know that I can't do good work then. I know that it ruins my sleep. And so I've trained myself to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. So it's a 5 a.m. wake up for me. And I have my morning time to myself, like my journaling, my stretching, my time with God, all of that stuff in the morning. And the kids typically I wake up around 8. So I've got from 5 till 8 to get a bunch of work done. I will often have meetings in that time. Like today I was on calls at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. with Arizona because that's what works for the time schedule. So 5 till 8 I'm working. 8 o'clock we have breakfast with the family. This is overseas, right? So we have breakfast with the family. Typically that's half an hour. Typically husband's already gone to get it or he's prepared it. We eat for half an hour. Now this part is new. We are going to trial 2 hours of homeschooling. Well, like actual learning curriculum-based stuff for 2 hours. So we have previously been a very low-tech family. We had one laptop between the 4 children. And that worked fine with us because they rotate and, all of that. This year for Christmas, we bought them all iPads, not the 4-year-old, but the others. We bought them all iPads. And they're just for school. So these 2 hours, I ran a World School Summit in October, November last year. And one of the people I was speaking with, I'll pop her links below, she was talking about doing 20 minutes of each subject for 2 hours. So that's what we are trying. So from 8:30 till 10:30, most days, right? Not every day, but most days, we're going to be doing English, maths, history, language, science, and music. They're the 6 subjects that we're going to rotate through for 2 hours. Of course, we'll probably have a break in there, so it'll end up being 2 and a bit. For us, we have identified apps for each child. Some of them we'll do together as a family, some we won't. But basically there'll be a 20-minute timer. They'll get on their iPad. We'll all sit around the kitchen table and we're all going to work together. So I'll still be working during that time and helping them out. My husband will be there too. So all 6 of us will get, my 4-year-old's going to start, he's started writing his own name. So he'll have some form of, activity that's not on a device. But we'll all be focused working with 20-minute timers for that time. Now, I'll keep you posted on this. This might all go to crap, but that is the plan. That's the plan. It may not work. Previously, we've used that morning time to do things and get the books out and that kind of stuff. We're trying something different, which I think is going to work really well because my kids love being on tech. All right, so from 10:30, which will really probably be 11 by the time we get out the door, it's going to be adventure time. Now, we don't like to set too many schedules. We really like to see what's the weather, what do we want to do, what are we feeling, and we just go and explore. What I love about the way that we travel is that we typically don't act like tourists. We do some touristy things, but for the most part, we go to the local parks. We go and just eat where the locals eat and we really immerse ourselves in the culture. We like to go back to a lot of the same vendors because that's part of why we stay in somewhere for a month, is to actually build connection. And so that has been one of the most special parts of the trips that we have done, is the people that we've met. And like, we went to Thailand for a month. We're really looking forward to going back in February and connecting with some of the same people who we have on Instagram, and we've already told them we're coming. And that's something that's really special and important for us. So most of the day, it's adventures and it's that immersive learning, right? It's transport and it's learning about money and it's food and maybe museums or galleries or shopping or going to famous sites or visiting factories, like whatever kind of immersive learning we can do in that place, that's what we try and do. And so even though it's not formal practical school, they're learning. And when we get home in the afternoon, which is typically like that 4 to 6 period, they'll come home. We might just be in the pool or at the beach, but typically around that time, they'll just have some quiet time. They'll do some reading, they'll do their journaling, they'll maybe, whatever, Lego, hang around, watch TV. Like, that is their chill out time. That's also my time to get any more work done. If I need to get more work done before dinner, it's that afternoon chill time. Some people might be playing board games. There's 4 kids and they typically will break off into a couple of groups and do different things. So that's how that works. Also, then if they're working on a project, that's when they do their research. That's when my son's building a video game. That's when he'll be doing that. So that's where they do any other, formalized kind of learning, but also chill time. Then from 6 till 8, typically that's when we have dinner. We might go for a walk after. We might play some board games. We don't really watch TV as a family. Maybe once every few weeks we'll watch a movie together. We'd rather be outside doing things, and where we stay typically is really hot, so we might go for an after swim or a walk on the beach, something like that. And I like to go to bed early because I'm getting up early. So that is what the day looks like. So 5 a.m. wake up, 8 a.m. breakfast, 8:30 to 10:30 school, most of the day playing, an afternoon session back, either working or schooling, like that 4 to 6, chill wind down time, dinner, and early night. That's what really works for us. Of course, if we're doing a big day trip, we either skip school or we'll do it on the train. We're very flexible as long as we see that they're progressing. The thing is actually with homeschooling is they go faster than at school. My son, for example, was 2 years ahead in maths just because he can go at his pace. So I'm not worried about them being at a certain level and skipping certain things, like it all comes out in the wash. I don't mind. Some things are really ahead, some things are average, some things like writing. My 1-year-old, my grade 1 with writing could probably be improved. I'm not worried. She'll get there. So that's kind of our approach to it. As long as I can see progression, we do it. All right. So how then does the business have to function in order to support that? So I want to talk about monthly, weekly, and daily cadence of the systems that we have inside the business that allow me to be able to work, 3 to 5 hours a day. So monthly, and we have an agency and I also do coaching, right? So I've got the two sides of the business. What I'm really talking about here is the agency side of things, because the coaching side, we have automated funnels for. There's not a lot of, apart from me creating content, there's not a lot. I show up once a week, twice a week. That's what that is in terms of team, my team support in terms of customer service. There's not a lot there to really manage and be in the weeds with, because of the style of business that it is. So in terms of team and agency, on every month we run full analytics for every client, and we have a planning session based on those analytics with the team. So I'll sit down with the Google Ads technician and I'll get the reports from every client. Anything that's missing, I'll ask for. I'm like, okay, I can see that this one's not converting as well. What are we doing about this landing page? What do you suggest? What if, for example, we have software set up so we can see what people are doing on the website. So how far down are they getting? What's getting them stuck? Are they filling out the form? What are they doing before they fill out the form? We can actually see that, which is really, really creepy, right? But it's very helpful. So we look at all of that. And once we have that data, I send that to the client and we'll have a conversation. Now, I typically have these monthly meetings with the clients because I love them. This is my jam. I love looking at the analytics, solving the problem. It really works my brain and coming up with the strategy, connecting with the clients. I love my clients so much. And so this is the meeting that I will do. From there, we come up with a plan, and that will be communicated to the team. And really the team are the ones who are outworking the majority of that. I'm not the one who's writing all of the posts, and I'm not the one who's setting up the automations and things. If I need to, yes, I can. Typically, that's what the team will do. So we have full analytics monthly, the meeting with the team monthly, a meeting with the client monthly, and then rolling out of those projects. So every week then with the team, we are doing a high level touch base on analytics and one-on-ones with the team members. So what this looks like is every Monday, one of my team members goes in and in the right spreadsheets, in each client spreadsheets, we'll update data for that previous week. So we're collecting all sorts of things. We're collecting what are their ads doing? We're collecting what are email open rates? What are conversions? What are, whatever it is for that client, like Facebook follows, Instagram follows, whatever's important to that client, we're keeping track of. And every week in our team meeting, we're looking at that, just keeping an eye on trends, anything that is standing out that we need, that we need to check on. Of course, if we're running new campaigns, we're making sure that is that campaign working, because we don't want our clients spending money where they shouldn't be spending money. We need to know where we need to optimize. And so we've got that weekly touch base that the client has access to at any time, where they can log in and see. So that's the high level touch base in the meeting. We'll talk about how it's rolling out. If there's anything I need to review in terms of copy before I send it to a client, actually the team will send it to the client, but if there's any questions around implementing the campaigns, that's what we talk about then. We talk about the progress, making sure that the production schedule is actually moving. And then every week, I will typically have a one-on-one with the team members that I need to. So the leaders, I'll have one-on-one meetings with them. Like I mentioned, the Google Ads, we've got a meeting with. I've got a meeting every We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyone who needs weekly team meetings, like one-on-ones, we have those. And also every single week, we have a survey. I've mentioned this before, a survey that goes out to our team members to touch base on how they are going. So it's fine to have analytics based on client reports and, you know, client campaigns, but you want to know how your team are doing, because maybe it's been a really stressful week and you don't know. Maybe the workload's been totally crazy and you're not aware of it. So this survey is only about 5 or 6 questions. I initially got this idea years ago. I've just realized, from Dave Ramsey. So he's got a book, I can't even remember what it's called, something about entrepreneurship. But he talks about this concept, and we implemented it years ago based on me listening to this book. And it's so amazing how it only takes them 2 minutes, but they'll say things in there that maybe they haven't mentioned in their one-on-one, maybe they haven't mentioned in front of the team. And it's just great to get a really good touch base on how's morale, how's stress, how's workload, anything else, like what was the high of the week, what was the low. And I've caught things like stopped team members from quitting. I've been able to pull up clients on the way that they were talking to my team. Like, there's things that have come up in those surveys that haven't come up in conversation. And so for me, that's amazing. So we send out that every single week. And to particular clients, we send out a similar survey to the client, but based on quality of leads. So some of our clients, we don't know what the quality's like, right? So we work with building companies. We know that they're getting leads. We don't know if they're terrible. So if they're calling the leads, we don't know if they're a multi-unit development builder. Is this person wanting a custom built house and they've just misread the ad, or they've just filled out whatever form just because? Or are they amazing, incredible quality leads that are ready to go? We want to know that because we need to shift our marketing accordingly. So they're the weekly tasks. The high level meetings, looking at all of the analytics, just keeping projects on track, any team one-on-ones, and the surveys for clients and team. So they're the 4 things, actually, because there's 2 surveys that are happening every single week. Now, every single day, I'm touching base with my EA. We have meetings every day, 15 minutes, whatever it needs to be, just so that I can communicate any changing priorities. We talk about my calendar, anything she needs from me, anything she's waiting on. She's really the one who's like controlling the flow of work and communication. And so we touch base every day, just really quickly. And what else is happening every day? Every single day, of course, we are all in our project management system. So everything is in monday.com. We used to be with ClickUp. Before that with Asana. I'm loving Monday. Every project is in there. Every task has communication in there. The way that we do things is also in there. So we also have, inside Monday, is a video and an SOP and a checklist for every single task that needs to be done. So if someone has to do someone else's task, it's really clear what they need to do. We have had this last little while, we've had team members have personal things and just have to be on leave. Of course, family comes first, life happens, someone has to pick up the slack. And so it's really possible to do when you have the right SOPs set up with checklists and videos. Like, please make sure that you have these things in. And any chat communication is in Google. We typically don't email team members. We will either communicate in the tasks things in Monday, or we've got Google Chat. So that is the structure that we have: monthly, weekly, and daily. And with those systems, that's what allows me to be able to work how I work, because I have the right people in the right place and the right systems supporting it. I couldn't otherwise, because the mental load of that many clients, of that many team members, would actually be impossible. And so the systems need to be robust enough to support the type of life that you want to live. So start putting those in place before you need them, right? Please, if you are doing too much and you're feeling overwhelmed, come back to systems, come back to deleting everything that doesn't need to be doing, outsourcing whatever you can, automating whatever you can, and really refining and simplifying how things get done and thinking about the quickest way, like the simplest way to done, not the most complicated. And think about things really need doing or whether you can think about it a different way or eliminate it. So, just a couple of other things um, first before we go. I am a planner. My whole TEDx talk was around freedom, the paradox of freedom, and how we need structure. And for me, I plan my week the week before. So at the end of the week, I know what next week already looks like. I was just doing it's Tuesday and I'm recording this, and I already have next week fully planned out because I've already had a day of meetings today. And so I know the work that needs to get done, the projects that need to get done, the things I need to deliver. So next week's done. Next week's already organized. Now, I also, things change, right? So we plan the day, the next day, the day before. So at the end of today, based on all the emails and everything, I will already know what I'm walking into tomorrow. I'll readjust if I need to readjust. Things will move if they need to move. And what makes it really easy to do that is having repeating time blocks for every system that we have. So, I always talk about the 7 systems: marketing, sales, service delivery, people, and finance and legal. There's the 5 business systems, and we also layer in well-being and impact and have activities for each one of those things. Each one has a system or multiple systems. Like each one of those is kind of a little ecosystem. And that means there's recurring time blocks. Like there's recurring time blocks for me to record the podcast. There's returning there's recurring time blocks for me to write the podcast. There's recurring time blocks for email, for sales, like for getting into DMs. There's recurring time blocks. And so because of that, my days are pretty much already set. And if I need to move time blocks because a client needs to move a meeting, or I've got an appointment, or it's school holidays and I booked the Junior Angels program, then great, we can. It's fine because we just move the time slots rather than delete them. And so those principles: plan your week the week before, broadly speaking, plan your day the day before, and have recurring time blocks. As long as you're covering all of those 7 systems, you will get everything done, and you get to move it to where suits you, your family, your lifestyle, wherever you're living, and the type of life that you want to live. So that is the way that I am running my business this year, and traveling for 6 months of the year, homeschooling my kids along the way. These are the systems that I am implementing. I would love to know how this has helped you, what you would do differently, what is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that, or like, oh, that sounds horrendous. I'd love to know. So come over to Instagram, say hello, send me a voice message. I love to hear your voices. And that's it. I'll see you on the next one.